day 10, and I'm actually following Betty and her sister Dorothy down to the museum. I'm going to visit with them for a few minutes, and then I get to go whale watching today on a boat. They saw 3 pods of orcas yesterday, and so I'm feeling pretty confident. But the reason I got the camera rolling right now is right around one of these corners is a terrific house and gallery and studio, I believe, with this wonderful metal work out along their fence of orca whales chasing a pod of fish, and then a cool little castle I want to get a little video of for my daughter here. So even though I'm rolling down the road, I want to see if I can't get a little footage, and then maybe on the way home this afternoon I'll stop and get a couple of pictures for everybody. Okay, here it is. So check this out. Isn't that awesome? And then this really cool castle, and I will get pictures later because there's someone following me. Okay, here's that cool castle. I got a couple cars coming up behind me, so I'm gonna go slowly, and they've got some gorgeous art on their fences. Mostly made out of, looks like stainless, and then metal that's rusted for the effect. Good morning. Like I said, it's day 10. I'm just about ready to go whale watching. I find some orcas out there on the water, but I wanted to stop by. Betty and her sister Dorothy are manning the history museum here on the island today. So I'm going to wander in real quick and see what we can find, and then walk across the street to the health food store, load up my pack with a bunch of wonderful snacks, and then head down to the docks.
I think it was their wedding, and this home is now down at Alderbrook, down by Dill Bay.
Okay.
It's on the Register of Historic Places. The lights that he tended, and with the lanterns and the oil and stuff for the...
Now, is that same building that's right on your property that's next to the picnic area?
No, this is Obstruction Island.
Okay.
He's putting a lantern on at the east end of Obstruction Island.
So these served as the lighthouses.
A trip to the Gold Rush. This is his picture when he left.
And this is your grandfather.
My grandfather. This is my great-grandparents that originally homesteaded.
And they were the ones that got that piece of property I'm camping on.
Right.
Isn't that incredible? Thank you.
1886, and they came over from England.
Right.
And this is the diary that my grandfather kept, and the supplies that they took, and all this.
Oh, and Betty, I know it's not quite on topic, but tell me real quick about the history of the weather station, because I haven't talked about that yet. And I know that, unless you got a picture, about how your property is one of the most important weather stations.
It is.
And tell me why.
Because it's the only one that's been in the same location for that long.
And it started in the 1800s?
1886. They're the ones that started it.
Okay, so these two started a weather station on that same property where I'm camping out at, and they haven't moved it since 1886, and that's why the historic value of it is so rich.
Right, and it's every day. Somebody in the family has handwritten it.
And you're doing precipitation reports as well as temperature reports.
Right.
Isn't that cool? And this gorgeous double wedding ring quilt back here, and it was made, Betty, by you and Dorothy, is that correct? Or it was finished by you and Dorothy?
Finished by us, and then Gail's got her embroidered emblem on the back.
Oh, so Gail cheated and put a label on the back. And Gail, just to remind everyone at home, is the one who had that wonderful coat on, and that's Betty's daughter. But what happens is every year we raffle off a quilt to benefit the museum. This is the phone that was in Betty's house. Grandmother's house. And just keep in mind, I'm filming this with my phone today, and that's a little bit of a change. I don't think that one had quite the resolution in the video work.
But I'll tell you what, we had 9 people on the party line. It was just as good as the internet is, or email is now.
That's where the internet started, wasn't it? Was you get a couple wires crossed and everybody's connected. And here, right here, is the homestead plot map for the property I've been staying on. Remember, I homesteaded in 1886, I believe. And then I'll try to back up to get you the whole view of Orcas Island.
This is my mom.
Oh, let me get a good picture of that. Oh, awesome. And then what you were saying is that in these books are a lot of the different handwritten family histories.
Right, and they just, told stories about what it was like when they grew up here, and then...
So this is a photographic enlargement machine. Probably how we now use our overhead projectors to transfer quilt imagery onto walls for tracing. We're trying to do some of our different fusible or applique pieces. Imagine having to use this, Ricky, for translating one of your giant convergence quilts. You have to start with a very small little drawing. Okay, inside the museum here, I'm meeting Mr. Antiquus. Am I saying that right, Betty?
Yes.
Okay, good. And what he was is a skeleton. Now let's turn the camera around. And this is a skeleton, did you say a 14,000 year old?
About 14,000, 12 or 14,000 years ago.
And it was found in a moss bog, dug up and recovered, and it changed the history records because you found much more indication that man was much here earlier than originally expected. Now, and then you said that the Afghan he's wearing is a school project that they all did on looms?
I did some, Jane did some, different ones did some, and then he sewed them all together and dolled him up to make him look like
Like a real bison again. That is terrific. That is an incredibly large sandwich. That'll keep me fed. I love it. Perfect.
Way up in Alaska, they started naming our resident orca whales, or they started naming orca whales the A's, the B's, and the C's. Our neck of the woods here, we have J's, K's, and L's. And J-pod is our most resident group of whales. There are 26 whales in J-pod, 20 whales in K-pod, and 40 whales in L-pod. Now each day is just different.
Camera not, so we just pushed off. We are going whale watching, a 45-mile round tour. Wish us luck. He said it might be slim pickings today, but we're all optimistic. Once again, reporting that the rain is due at any moment. At least that's the story up here in the Pacific Northwest. But we just put a ton of sunscreen on for the second time, and we're sitting outside in about 70-degree weather. But it rains every day up here. Coming up on a rock covered stellar sea lions. Let's see what I can show you here. I'll just turn it on in advance so that way I don't have to worry about it. There it is. I did. Still getting it. So is that the last dive, probably? That's a bait ball.
That is a bait ball.
And we pulled up on it. There was a bunch of seagulls on it. And
It is. It goes way down. There they go.
well, back at the Orcas Ferry landing and met some new friends, Deb and Mary and Captain Dan. That was really cool. Got to see a bunch of minke whales, a bunch of sea lions, some stellar sea lions, and also a couple of bald eagles out there, one at a great distance and one nice and close in the rock. So hopefully it shows up in the video for you. For me, it's back to Betty's house for another family supper. Her family's out there tonight doing some ham radio work, so I'll hang out with those guys and see what my day brings tomorrow for another adventure. I think I'm heading up to a salmon fishery with Betty's brother John. He volunteers there constantly to help keep the salmon population good on the island. So anyways, I think that'll be another great adventure.